Hey guys, Disler Magic here, and I just got done testing the crap out of the two Amonkhet Planeswalker decks. Now, the Planeswalker decks are supposed to replace, I believe, the intro packs, but not the welcome decks. Oh, and then there's event decks, then there's dual decks, then there's, like, I don't even remember the names at this point. They keep renaming the products, and it's confusing as hell. Right now, it's like, welcome deck, which is in the Deck Builder's Toolkit, the Planeswalker decks, and then, like, booster packs. I mean, obviously the bundle, too. But as far as decks, I think they've simplified it enough. Then again, there's, like, Mind versus Might coming out soon, and it's a dual deck, and I could have sworn they said they're done making them. I don't know. But here's the thing about this one. Here's the hook with this one. And this surprised me. I do believe that the MSRP on these is $15. Actually, $14.99, but ain't nobody got time for that. So, showing all pretty in the front is the Liliana Death Wielder Planeswalker, foil mythic, lovely. And on the Gideon one, you've got Gideon Marshall Paragon. Hey look, she costs 7 and he costs 5, wow, how fair. And trust me, that's not a joke, it comes up. I'll just spoil the ending right now. The Gideon deck beats the crap out of the Liliana deck with one exception. The Liliana deck is slower and doesn't have enough control, but it has an appropriate level of control to keep it fun, and the Gideon Marshall Paragon deck is annoying, too slow for the colors it is, but still fast as hell. It plays completely inconsistently, and when it does, it can actually win, or I should say when it does work, it can actually win on turn 4. Otherwise, it'll win on turn 30. It is that inconsistent. So, as far as, like, standard decks go, they're pretty terrible. As far as value, you know, fun playing with relatively almost equal games and the fact that it might have a fun game, you know, between the two or even in a mirror match, yeah, it's a bit of a shootout even in a mirror match. I would say that all the games I played with these, either against themselves or against each other, were pretty good games whether I won or lost. For new players, they were very educational too, so you'll just notice that Gideon wins a lot, with one exception, and I'll come back to that. So here's the thing. So for $15, you also get, besides the 60 card full deck complete with lands and everything, you get 2 booster packs. Okay, those are $3.99, or as I like to call it, $4. So if that's what your store charges, then 15 minus 4 minus 4 is $7. $7 for a foil mythic planeswalker that you can't get anywhere else, plus an entire 59 card deck to go with it. Oh, and the basic lands and 4 crappy comes in tap fixer lands. You cannot beat that value. In fact, if for some reason you just wanted the cards in it, which I can't imagine why, they're not that great, you could send Liliana or Gideon in on a buy list. They tend to be about $4. So then you've got a $3 deck left. I mean, the decks kind of revolve around them and directly fetch them by name, so I wouldn't get rid of them. But, yeah, if you're just looking for a dirt cheap product to teach somebody how to play Magic or to go up against somebody because you're bored or you haven't built an Amonkhet deck yet but you want to practice with the new cards and the new mechanics, these are practically 100% Amonkhet. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say every single card is from Amonkhet. Well, every single card is legal and standard, so, and they're, I believe, considered to be in Amonkhet because of when they were sold. So, yeah, you're going to learn some of the new mechanics. So, the Liliana deck, she costs 7, and the fetch card for her, which there's 2 of, costs 6. Now, that spells devastating, but there has to be 25 lands to get to it, and that's how many there are. They also put in one special land. It's the one where you pay 1 second and put a -1/-1 counter on a target creature. Kind of cool. I took it right out to ensure that my colors weren't screwed up. It turns out I probably should have left it in because the whole deck is all about -1/-1 counters. I wish I was kidding. I am not exaggerating. You put them on the opponent's creatures, you put them on your own creatures about as often. It's the most suicidal, stupid, degenerate, backwards, dumb thing I've ever seen. And besides Decimator Beetle, there is no reason. It's just, oh, this creature's hyper powerful, like Baleful Ammit. You guys remember that card? It's a 4/3 lifelinker for 3. I mean, what the hell? But when it enters battlefield, put a -1 counter on target creature you control. So it's almost always baleful, and then, well, now you've got a 3/2 lifelinker for 3, which is actually more appropriate. I mean, that's more power level. I mean, the damn card's not even a rare. But if you can throw it on like some throwaway creature like Dune Beetle, which is just a generic 1/4, well, if it was a 0/3, you could probably block with it too. So, but it's like now you've got dumpy throwaway creatures that you probably could have used, that you could have put a better creature in the slot, and then creatures that are kind of OP but not really, and they, depend on something else being out, and the whole deck just feels weird, but it was kind of fun to run it, I guess. By the way, if you're wondering why I said Decimator Beetle, it's a 4/5, and whenever you swing, you can take a -1 counter off one of your creatures and put it on one of the defending player's creatures, so that's pretty cool. But there's only 2 in the deck, they cost 5, and that's not good enough for like the 3 other creatures that all drop them onto your own people. Now, the huge redeeming quality, because this deck absolutely blows otherwise, is the 3 artifacts. You got your Edifice of Authority, basically like a tap down, tap down, tap down, tap down, repetitive pacification array kind of thing. Then you got your Luxor River Shrine. This is insane. I got to 44 life with this damn card. You can pay a mana, tap it, gain 1 life, put a brick counter on it, and, do that once per turn, basically. And once you get to 3, you can just tap it completely for free and gain 2 life. So every single turn, gain 2 life. It is so annoying. And also, I mean, 25 lands, and then a bunch of stuff costs like 1, and then a bunch of stuff costs 6. Yeah, you're going to have some mana left over in a given turn. Then there's the broken as all hell card, Oracle's Vault. Only one in there. It is a rare, and honestly, it's worth quite a bit. Plus, there's one more rare in here. Channeler Initiate. That's the mana ramp person that brings out 3 -1s on itself, and then taps for mana 3 times, and then maxes out, and it's a 3/4. So, honestly, I would say this is the more expensive one, even though Gideon himself is more likely to sell. So the Oracle's Vault lets you, pay 2, tap it, exile the top card. You can cast it for free after you get 3 brick counters on it, which you do that 3 times. You can just tap it completely for free, exile the top card, play it for free. So no mana involved. Once per turn, you flip up a damn card and play it for free. Broken, like modern grade broken. This is a miniature Aetherworks marvel. I mean, I don't understand why Oracle's Vault is not worth like $10. I just don't. Other than it was the promo like today. But still, I mean, that card, yeah, it takes 3 turns to get up there. Okay, it's kind of like Aether Vial. It's kind of like As Foretold. You gotta wait and wait and wait, but if you can cover it, then you're gonna just dominate the game with it. So it's a little bit of a time bomb, and whatever. There have been cards like that, and they're all considered quite good. I mean, you could literally just flip up a Liliana. There's no restrictions on it. It's just, oh, you have a card. If it's a land, play it. If it's a spell, cast it. So between repetitive pin down, repetitive life gain, or repetitive free casting, you have got an artifact arsenal, but there's only 3, and it's 3 out of 60, and there's only 1 of, so... I mean, if you threw more in, it would be crazy, but then it's like, they're colorless. Just throw them in any deck. Like, why is it even in this deck? Probably just to bump up the power because the deck's pathetic. Strangely Missing is basically any kind of control. I mean, you can drop out 2 -1s on 1 or 2 creatures combined, so either 1 each or 2 on 1. Maybe kill something. It's an instant, it costs 3, whatever. It's not a good kill spell at all. It's just stupid. I mean, it's 3 in an instant. Just run Murder. I mean, if you were to rebuild this deck, there's a lot of upgrades that can be made, like actual kill spells. But then there's the whole 2 black cartouches, which is +1/+1 and lifelink when it enters, put a -1 on a target creature, and then the green one, which is +1 trample, and it fights a target creature, which is guaranteed removal pretty much. And then you got the Trial of Ambition, which is you cast it out, it's an enchantment, it costs 2, they have to sack a creature, and then when a cartouche comes out, you bring it back to hand. I think that combo is pretty damn good, especially in these colors. I mean, with 4 cartouches and 2 of those, I got them to link up a couple times, and yeah, multi-kill. I mean, that's pretty nuts, while you're also making your creatures bigger, and you might get a double kill with the green one. So that's where the power really goes nuts. There's a couple other weird filler cards in here, so you get the gist of it. Drop out -1/-1 counters, maybe kill something, and maybe get out Liliana. I mean, there's not much to it, but the artifacts are OP as hell, and I don't know, some of the kill combos are pretty good. So not that great of a deck, but tons of room for improvement. Now the Gideon one's a lot simpler. Basically, I mean, he himself can be a 5/5 indestructible. That's cool, as -10 wins the game. Which I should probably mention Liliana, what she actually does. Okay, +2, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Cool, so you might have stalled out combat. Now they can't swing. Now you can swing. It's very underrated. And then she'd be at 7 loyalty at that point. You could also -3 her and destroy a target creature with -1/-1 already on it. You probably put one on it somehow, so pretty nice. Otherwise, you can alternate. Kind of cool. And then her -10, return all creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's literally half of Rise of the Dark Realms, and I think the real Liliana has the full one that involves all graveyards. So, pretty crap. Gideon, though, is pretty nuts. I mean, untap all creatures you control. They gain +1/+1 till end of turn. If they were tapped, they probably already swung, so why +1 them? It's dumb. But if you exerted them, you can now unexert them, give them a boost, swing again, and exert again. So, yeah, he's a total exert engine. He's only 5 mana, and he comes out with 5 loyalty. That's pretty nuts. And like I said, he doesn't have haste, but any other turn you can turn him into a 5/5 human, indestructible, prevent all damage. That's nuts. And his -10, okay? Creatures you control get +2/+2, and tap all creatures your opponents control, or as I like to call it, win the game. As long as you've got like 3 creatures out or something, you probably just won. I mean, that's 6 extra damage plus their damage plus no blockers. So Gideon himself is insane, and he's going to come out way earlier than Liliana. His fetch card is basically always watching. All other creatures get +1/+1 on your side, and it's an enchantment. This deck is just faster, more damage output, and just better. If it doesn't get out-controlled, it doesn't get stalled out by like a giant lifelinker or something, it doesn't have its creatures shrunk by -1/-1 counters, it's going to win. I mean, the Gideon deck's probably going to win 75% of the time. So, I mean, you got a bunch of exerters. You got crazy ones like Glorybound, which for 2, he turns into a 4/4 lifelinker. Of course you're going to exert them every single time you swing, because they counter swing for 2. Who cares? You just gain 4. You got a couple that like gain flying and +1. Just kind of weak-ish exerters. None of the real bomb ones. But honestly, I think the bomb ones aren't even in these colors. It's white, red, of course. A lot of like, they can't block, target creature can't block, this can't block, that can't block, this can't be blocked. Very annoying, very blue of an effect, actually. Very, very, very annoying. Then they've got like, oh, every time you swing, everybody gets +1/+1, or exert it, and everybody gets +1/+1. So it can get out of control quickly, and like I said, it can win on turn 4. Very annoying. The flyers are pathetically weak and very overcosted, but there are 24 lands, which will get you to 5 in a hurry. That's actually bad because it's going to be overpowered. Then, to top it all off, you got the exert and bring something back from the graveyard directly to the battlefield. That's 2 mana or less. That is broken, okay? That is broken as all hell. You can bring back almost anything from this damn deck. Considering the Liliana deck has trouble killing anything, yeah, ridiculous. But then they've got garbage fillers, like 4 copies of that stupid cat where it's a 2/2, and then when it swings, it's a 3/3, and it costs 3. Doesn't do anything, no lifelink, nothing, no embalm. Total filler to just like hit the brakes on the deck. Because I mean, you got your on Crop Crasher, that guy's a 3/2 with haste, and when you exert him, target creature can't block. That by itself could be lethal. Now, because exert is so just stupid, it's just a stupid mechanic because, oh, I swung for a little bit more damage. Now I can't swing again. So if you take like a 6-turn average, you actually went down in total damage output. So it's good for swinging for the win, but some of them, like Glorybound Initiate, I mean, lifelink and 4/4, holy crap. Or +1/+1 and flying, boom, I just assassinated your Planeswalker. So it has a use, but they recognize that if you were to put in 4 always watchings, you'll just win the game. I mean, that's what exert was really made for, is vigilance. So they have a Sparring Mummy, which is a 4-cost 3/3. You drop it in, it untaps target creature. And they got a couple untap effects in here, not much. Not enough to make it worthwhile, except for Gideon himself. Then you'll just win. If he comes out, you just won, basically. And they got garbage like Hyena Pack. It's a 4-cost 3/4, just absolute filler. I would have went 100% exert or more vigilance granters. They have like one, the garbage version of Gideon's Reproach. It's 2-cost instant, 3 damage to attacking or blocking creature. Oh boy, removal almost. Electrify, 4 damage to target creature for 4. I mean, not exactly the ideal removal, but that's the point. They don't want these decks to be hyper powerful, super unfair, win too early or just dominate based on card draw. They do have 3 trials, but only 2 cartouches, so good luck bouncing your trial back to hand. It's a really good trial, though, so I can see why they didn't just put in 4 cartouches. Also, the cartouche grants +1/+1 in haste, and a target creature can't block this turn. I mean, that by itself can be lethal for 1 mana. This deck's just overpowered. I mean, it's so close to being an insanely powerful deck that if you just tweaked a couple of the cards, yeah, you're good. So that's why Gideon's deck is more realistic if you wanted to upgrade it to work in Standard. Liliana's is just too slow. 6 and 7 cost are just unrealistic. It never will be good enough to really compete at FNM. So I said Gideon's going to win like every game, but the way that you're supposed to do these is both players, one goes Liliana, one goes Gideon, or mirror match, whatever you want, and then you open the 2 boosters and use them to improve the deck. That is what Wizard said you're supposed to do with the 2 boosters. It's not just here, have some more value. So then if it's a mirror match, maybe it isn't, because you'll pull, I don't know, an average of like 8 cards on each color, so maybe 16 options to put in. Actually, I think it's a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. Now, in Amonkhet, in green-black, there are better cards in lower rarities, so you're more likely to be able to upgrade Liliana's deck to be better. Gideon's, there's not much that would help you. It's a lot of stuff from other sets. There's not a whole lot you could bring in except for like an embalm creature, maybe. There's not that much good removal in red or black. I mean, it's very particular. A lot of like, oh, I'm going to deal 1 damage across the board, which usually isn't good enough. So in a true heads up, Liliana versus Gideon match, if you crack the 2 packs, then Liliana is going to stand a better chance. Maybe. It's like, it's card draw luck in the game, but then even before it, it's what's in the booster luck. As much as I hate pool luck, I mean, that's just what it is. So a lot of people at a kind of big tournament we went to, they had trouble getting anything out of their Gideon deck. Like, they changed like 2 cards and just ditched the rest because it just wasn't good enough. Anybody could pull a, high-end colorless artifact, obviously. But the Liliana ones, they got pretty nuts. I mean, in my Liliana deck, I pulled a fog card for 2. Yeah, I fogged the Gideon people after they exert swung at me. You really can't do anything much more mean than that. So it was like, if you survive long enough, Liliana will always win in the long run as long as Gideon doesn't come out. But still, the Gideon deck's faster on average, so if you can improve the Liliana one enough, dig it out of the hole that it dug itself in, and then you can consistently get land and not get stuck high and dry at 5 or 6, you will probably win with the Liliana one. So would I say that head-to-head they're pretty fun? Yeah, I mean, the games were a little unbalanced in Gideon's side, depending upon what you pulled in Liliana's deck, but they were fun games. I mean, whether you won or lost, they went long enough, and people seemed to be having fun, and it was cool. So overall, would I recommend people pick these up? For head-to-head, yes, as long as you're going to crack the packs. For upgrading to standard decks for FNM, maybe not, but if you do, go Gideon, and honestly, you could just build it from scratch almost as well, and then just don't put Gideon in. But then again, if you put in 12 Gideons, it would be a little excessive, but it would be pretty good. But if you put in like 4 Martial Paragons and 4 of just the other Amonkhet one, you've got a pretty damn powerful deck. Like, that wouldn't even feel excessive. It would feel proper. So you should, open one just to have one, but, don't discount the Liliana deck. She's not too bad either. Also, there's more money rares in it. I mean, I think Channeler Initiate and Oracle's Vault they're either already worth, a bit more than average, or they're about to be worth a lot more than average. For Gideon's deck, there's just not a whole lot in there. I mean, Glorybound is cool. He's really not worth that much, but he's quite good. And, I don't know, Gideon's Resolve isn't very good at all. I don't even know why that's a rare. I think they did it just to say there's another rare in there. Oh, that's the Gideon Fetcher, but it's 5 cost, like, damn, and then it's basically always watching without vigilance. So it's good, but for 5, it's not that good. So for almost any reason, for value, I would pick it up because, I mean, you're basically paying $7 for a foil Planeswalker that you could use in almost any other format, and a 60-card deck that you could play with. You could pull a Masterpiece, too, from the actual Planeswalker decks. I've done it, personally. Hell, it's on video. Look it up. Aether Revolt Planeswalker deck battle. Oh, actually, no, don't look for that exact keyword. I never mentioned in the video that's where we got the boosters from, but that is where we got them from. It was actually just titled Pack Wars. I don't know, whatever. So insane value, very fun to play against each other, kind of equal-ish, maybe, and they can result in some pretty good games in an average game. So something with a lot of thinking and decisions and a lot of different mechanics, and you know, the game swings back and forth to who's in control and has the advantage and stuff. So yeah, just, you know, fun, gradual Magic. I would say for absolute new people, though, it's not nearly as good as the welcome decks, because there's some stuff that even I was misreading and misinterpreting. Like, oh, I have to do this way, or this says only opponents, or this says only me, and this I have to trigger this first to do this, otherwise this doesn't work. Or, oh, I can't grant this guy haste because the one that grants it haste doesn't have haste. You know, it's all this real particular stuff where if you're like alert and awake, you'll probably catch it and you know Magic. But a new person might be deeply confused. I think it would be a little bit of a turnoff to the game. But if they've been playing for a couple weeks or whatever, sure, hand them a Planeswalker deck, especially for basically $7. I really can't get over that. I mean, even just the damn basic lands are like 5 cents a piece. I mean, come on, people. So yeah, go pick them up if you're bored. If you want to have fun, you can even tell your LGS if they have enough in stock. Hey, we want to do the Planeswalker deck challenge for F&M. The problem is, I mean, they're 15 MSRP, then you gotta have prize support, so usually it's like $20, which that's kind of an expensive event since drafting is only 10 usually. Actually, you kind of need prize support, but I don't know, drafting is almost always 10 from what I heard. That's, I don't know, whatever, depends on your store. I mean, that's already 3 packs for 10, like you're already pushing it, so usually it's more like 15. So yeah, a little bit expensive for a recurring event, but if you just did it once or did it on a Saturday or something as a special event with your friends, yeah, absolutely, it'll be fun, it'll be fair, and it'll give you good practice at playing Amonkhet. So overall, I give the product maybe an A-. It's pretty darn close to being perfect, and it gets a lot of points for just sheerly its price tag. Also, they cost me like $8.80 or something at the distributor, which is awesome because I can buy list the cards in bulk, the Planeswalker ones, and then just pretty much open like $1.20 boosters. You didn't hear it from me, but that's how that's working. Also, super little hint at the end. The bundles, the land pack has 80 lands in it, and 20 of them are full art, okay? You'd have to open like 4 boxes or something to get that many. I'm way too lazy to do the math, but it's a lot. They appear to be worth about 33 cents a piece, so hello. There's rumors that die is going to be worth, you know, $2 to $5 because the clear Kanzatar Kier ones are worth a lot now, and I mean a lot. Anytime they do a special custom die, especially ones that look really cool like these, just wait a little bit, or even probably right now, they're worth a fortune. So you take that, and then you got, oh, that's right, 20 at 33 cents a piece. Well, there's another $6.60. You've practically paid for the damn bundle. And by the time you, count the token pack, which I think the tokens are like double-sided or something. It's like very unique, very collectible, very uncommon that they run off something like this. So that token pack is awesome. That's brand new, just something they just straight up added. I mean, it's really cool, really useful. I would have everybody just buy one just to get the token pack. And then you get 10 boosters instead of 9. So if you're not a big bundle / fat pack person, pick one up this time. I mean, you will not regret it. So little pro tip secondary review there. This is the best bundle they've ever released. Hands down, value-wise, anything else-wise. Well, except for the BFZ ones, obviously, because they had a full art land pack. But those were like $80 online and they were being scalped. So second best bundle they've ever released. So hey, pick one of those up too, and hopefully you guys have fun with your Planeswalker deck battles. I'll see you guys next video.